Temperatures across Europe are pushing so high that the physical foundation of the continent is beginning to break. Vital transportation routes are buckling under the sustained thermal load, forcing authorities to suspend tram services and throttle train speeds. Up in the Alps, seasonal melting is accelerating. Glaciers are losing their accumulated winter ice weeks ahead of schedule. Down in the cities, the heat is becoming lethal. France alone recorded over 1,300 excess deaths linked to high temperatures in a single week, with dozens more drowning as they sought relief in unregulated waters. Right now, roughly 1 in 50 million people across the continent are living under extreme heat warnings. Conditions are so dangerous that landmarks like the Eiffel Tower are forcing early closures to keep visitors out of the midday sun. It is a shift that has transformed once-in-a-generation weather anomalies into a deadly annual guarantee. Europe's cities, transit networks, and power grids were engineered for a thermal range that has moved beyond its design limits. The immediate trigger for these extreme temperatures is a stagnant atmospheric pattern meteorologists call an omega block. High-pressure systems occasionally stall out, bulging over Europe to form a giant lid shaped like the Greek letter omega. Because it's stationary, it acts like a vacuum, drawing scorching air up from the Sahara while pushing away cooler winds. An omega block itself is a normal weather pattern. The reason it is now producing lethal temperatures is the continuous accumulation of carbon pollution in the atmosphere. With the planet already warmed by 1.1 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, the sweltering nighttime temperatures currently harming people's sleep are about 100 times more likely today than they were 2 decades ago. The omega pattern traps the air in place, but decades of fossil fuel emissions ensure that the trapped air is dangerously, inescapably hot. High humidity introduces a biological dimension to the danger through a metric called the wet bulb temperature. The human body cools itself by sweating. But when the air reaches a certain humidity threshold, sweat can no longer evaporate. Without evaporation, the body loses its primary cooling mechanism and internal temperatures spike rapidly. Climate researchers recently analyzed Europe's 850 largest cities and found that almost half are currently experiencing their worst ever recorded levels of this specific humid heat stress. This physiological strain has prompted immediate warnings from the World Health Organization about the severe risks to global populations. Europe is particularly exposed because it is the fastest warming continent on Earth. Average temperatures here are rising at twice the global average rate. The overlap of rapid regional warming and rising humidity is actively turning historic, densely populated urban centers into thermal traps. The danger is amplified by the way Europeans live. Millions reside in older topfing is rare. To prevent casualties, cities are improvising. Madrid, for example, has set up designated climate refuge, air-conditioned public spaces where residents can go when their homes become too hot to survive. In Rome, tourists and locals alike crowd historical water sources and public fountains, completely desperate to lower their core temperatures. The strain is cracking institutional infrastructure as well. Hospitals in England have reported critical IT and machine failures due to the extreme heat. While in France, organizers had to cancel a major music festival, expecting hundreds of thousands of attendees simply to avoid mass medical emergencies. Europe has faced extreme heat before. In 2003, a brutal summer killed an estimated 15,000 people, but the baseline temperature has risen significantly since then, meaning any new heat wave starts from a much higher, much more dangerous floor. The UN climate chief has stated clearly that the world's reliance on burning coal, oil, and gas is the driver behind these extremes, and avoiding further disaster requires a rapid transition to clean energy. Climate scientists warn that if global emissions continue on their current trajectory, the brutal conditions of this summer will seem relatively cool in the decades to come. We are watching the active distortion of our environment as rising temperatures rewrite the physical limits of our roads, our rails, and our own bodies. The question is what kind of infrastructure we are willing to build and what parts of our old lives we are willing to abandon to survive the heat.